Okay, let's unpack this. Today we're diving deep into a figure with a really evocative title, Chief of the Sea. We're talking about Daria Sarang. He was a key high admiral in Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj's very early navy, back in the mid-1600s.
Right, and that's a pretty crucial point because Shivaji, who was, mostly known for his land-based power at the time, he saw that having a strong naval presence was absolutely essential, especially along that vital western coast.
Yeah, building a navy, an organized one, basically from scratch must have been a huge task.
Oh, definitely. And getting the right people in charge, well, that was paramount.
Exactly. So our mission here in this deep dive is really to dig into the sources we have on Darius Sarang. What was his background? What did he actually do? And why was his specific know-how so important for Shivaji's plans for securing that whole coastline?
Well, what's really fascinating, and maybe a key thing that jumps out from the sources, is where Darya Sarang actually came from.
Hmm.
It seems he wasn't just like a general told to manage ships. The evidence points to him being from a coastal warrior community,
Oh, okay.
which suggests Shivaji wasn't just thinking military structure. He was strategically bringing in this deep inherent knowledge of the Arabian Sea, understanding its currents, its moods.
The geography, all of it. So it wasn't just military tactics, it was tapping into this lifetime, maybe generations of really intimate environmental knowledge.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And the sources show he rose pretty quickly, became one of the main naval chiefs
Yeah.
as early as the 1660s, right when the Maratha Navy was really starting to form.
Right.
The accounts really highlight his deep knowledge of the sea, strong leadership, in fights and just managing the ships, and also his loyalty, his bravery.
And that expertise, it sounds like it paid off quickly.
Yes, absolutely. It translated straight into action. We see in the research he was instrumental in challenging the powers already there.
Yeah.
The ones who dominated the West Coast for ages, like the Portuguese controlling trade and the very formidable Siddhis, especially around key spots like Dandarajpuri and Janjira.
Just south of modern Mumbai, right?
Exactly. So right in the thick of it against major rivals.
So, okay, he was leading ships in battle, but what else? Did the sources show him doing other things?
Yeah, they point to another really critical role, his involvement with the sea forts. Shivaji's coastal control wasn't just about ships floating around. It relied heavily on these fortified bases along the coast. And Sarang, well, he was key in guarding them, organizing the forces at these strategic spots.
Look at Sujurg.
Sintudurg's a perfect example. Sources say it was specifically built to control the Arabian Sea, and Sarang's command there was vital. Or Kalaba Fort, that was used as a base for quick sea raids.
That kind of control, it needs constant watchfulness, right?
Definitely. And the sources also mentioned he was responsible for the day-to-day patrolling, covering a huge stretch of the Konkan coast.
From Malvan way down south up towards, well, what's Mumbai now?
Right. And that patrolling, it wasn't just routine sailing. It was foundational work for maritime security, spotting enemy ships, protecting Maratha ones, messing with opponent supply lines, that kind of thing.
So his impact wasn't just single battles.
No, not at all. He's really recognized as one of the very first commanders of an organized, sort of independent Indian Navy.
That early leadership, clearly it had a big impact, helping Shivaji actually secure a big chunk of that western coast, keep the Konkan safe.
Indeed. That title, Chief of the Sea, it wasn't just for show. He was a genuine expert in sea warfare strategy. They say he understood everything, tides, winds, different ship types, how best to use them in a fight. His bravery, his expertise seem unquestionable, and underscored by that loyalty to Shivaji Maharaj his whole life. Of course, naval command later shifted to families like the Angries. But Darya Sarang's pioneering work, well, it had already laid some really essential groundwork.
He's remembered then as this brave warrior, patriotic commander,
Yeah.
a really pivotal figure in early Indian naval history.
So thinking about all this, for you listening, how does understanding figures like Darya Sarang change things? These leaders who built naval power by mixing military strategy with this really deep local environmental knowledge.
Yeah, how does that shift your perspective on historical power, maybe defense, especially for coastal areas?
What stands out to you about that blend, that mix of intimate sea knowledge and broader strategic vision you see in leaders like him? Something to mull over.